Okay, and then the last one that we're going to go over here, this last video, is just basically explaining what your homework questions are going to look like. Only reason I'm doing this is because your homework combines both of these together. So starting out with your homework question, it's going to present you with a sequence, and then it's going to ask you just to answer the following questions about that sequence afterwards. So my sequence up here, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17. The first question that they're going to ask you is the sequence arithmetic or geometric? So when I'm looking through this, I got to remember, arithmetic, those are things that are adding. Geometric, those are things that are multiplying. So what's my differences between each of these numbers? 5 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, 14 to 17. You just got to play around with it. I'm noticing that they are adding 3 each time as we're moving through. Okay? One way you can check that is you can take the term minus its previous term. So the term 17 minus the previous term, 14, is 3. Do the same thing, term minus its previous term, 14 minus 11, 3. 11 minus 8, 3. Okay, so it's got 3 every single time. Okay, so is it arithmetic or geometric? Well, since it's adding, this one is arithmetic. Okay, the next question is going to say, what is the common difference or the common ratio? Okay, now remember for this one, if you're doing arithmetic, you're finding the common difference. If you say it's geometric, that means you're finding the common ratio. So for us, we saw that it was arithmetic. We saw this as arithmetic. That means that I'm finding the common difference. So what is the common difference? Well, that's that number that we're adding by. So when I answer this question here, I want to say that D, my common difference, equals 3. I know that my D equals 3. Okay? The next thing they're going to ask you to do is they're going to ask you to find the nth term formula. So we're going to find the nth term formula. So the first thing you need to do is probably pull out your notes, write down your formula. A sub n equals A plus n minus 1 times D. And we're going to plug in. What's our D value? We found our D value is 3. What's our A value? Remember, A value is your first term. So our first term would be a 5. Okay, and I'm going to plug these in. A sub n equals 5. Is this the same one we did before? Well, I'm just going to do it, even if it is. I hope it's not. I think it is. I don't know. Whatever. And our D value is 3. Okay? So I'm going to go through. Remember, arithmetic ones we can simplify. I'm going to distribute in my 3. A sub n equals 5 plus 3n minus 3. This is definitely the same one, isn't it? Well, you can't answer me. Keep simplifying, combining like terms. A sub n equals 3n plus 2. Okay? So, there is our nth term formula. Okay? So I've answered the first 3 questions. I said, okay, it's arithmetic. I said we've got a common difference of 3. Here's my nth term formula. The last question is going to ask you to find a specific term. So for this one, they want to know what's the 150th term. Okay, remember that 150, that becomes my n value. N equals 150. So it's A sub 150, because that's the term I'm looking for, equals 3 times my n value, which is 150, because that's the term I'm looking for, plus 2. 3 times 150 is going to give me 450, plus 2. So the 150th term is 452. And that's how your homework's going to go. Okay? 4 questions about every sequence. Determine first, is it arithmetic? Is it geometric? What's the common difference? What's the common ratio? Find the nth term, and then find the specific term that they are looking for. Okay? I want you guys to pause the video, try this one on your own, and try that one on your own. See if you can get the right answers. So pause the videos, try those 2. Okay? Now we're going to go through Hopefully you guys have paused and tried this on your own. Okay, trying to find a relationship. One thing I can tell you guys is if these numbers start getting real big real quick, probably geometric. We still need to check it. Okay, trying to find what the common ratio is now. Times 2, times 2, times 2. So is this geometric? Yes, this is a geometric sequence because we are multiplying. Now remember, if it's geometric, that means we're finding our common ratio. What is our common ratio here? Well, our common ratio would be 2. Now, if you guys are like, how'd you see to do times 2 times 2? There is another way. We can look at our term just like we did the last time. Term and its previous term. So I'm going to take the term divided by its previous term, which gives me 2. I can take the term 52 divided by its previous term. 52 divided by 26 gives me 2. I can take the term divided by its previous term. 26 divided by 13 gives me 2. That's how I can see that common ratio. So that's another way that you guys can go through and find that if you're struggling just to see what it multiplies by. Okay? All right. So back to the questions then. We got geometric. We found our common ratio was 2. Now it wants the nth term formula. So we need to pull out our notes. Recall, what is the nth term formula? What's a sub n equals a times r to the n minus 1 power. So that's going to be a sub n equals, what's my first term? 13 times, what's my common ratio? 2 to the n minus 1 power. Can we simplify these? No. Geometric sequences you cannot simplify because of the exponent. We can't multiply until we deal with that exponent. And there's a number up, or there's a variable up there, so we don't even know what's in the exponent. Last thing it's going to ask you is specific terms. So for this one, what's the 15th term? A sub 15 equals 13 times 2 to the 15 minus 1. So that's going to be a 13 times 2 to the 14th power. We still, remember, we have to do the exponent before we can multiply. So I'm going to do 2 to the 14th power. Gives me a big number. That's going to give me 13 times 16,384. So that times 13. Now we can do our multiplication. And I find that a sub 15, my 15th term, is 212,992. And that's our 15th term. Okay? So there's an example of what a geometric sequence would look like. Now we'll do our last one here. Is it arithmetic? Is it geometric? I don't know. I'm looking at it. The numbers seem to be pretty constant as they're moving down, which is making me think that it's arithmetic. They're not moving up though, but that's okay. I am subtracting here, I'll do that in a different color so we can see that better. Just erase the whole thing. I am subtracting 4, subtracting 4, subtracting 4, subtracting 4. But Mr. Schieber, you said that it couldn't be subtraction, and you are right, because subtraction is really adding a negative. So I'm really adding a negative 4 every single time. So I'm adding, which makes this arithmetic. Okay, if it's arithmetic, that means I'm looking for my common difference. What is my common difference? Well, for this one, my common difference is a negative 4. I'm going to recall my nth term formula. A sub n equals a plus n minus 1 times d. So this is going to be an a sub n equals, what's my first term? First term is 55. Okay. Plus n minus 1 times my d is negative 4. Okay. So I'm going to distribute in 55 plus, actually I don't even need a plus sign there anymore, 55 minus 4n plus 4. Combine my like terms. A sub n equals 59 minus 4n. Okay, there is my nth term. Wants to know what is the 54th term. Remember when they asked for a specific term, that would be our value. So a sub 54 equals 59 minus 4 times, what did I say, 54? Yep, 54 term. Okay, so that would be 216. 54 equals 59 minus 216, and then 59 minus 216 gives me a sub 54. 54th term is a negative 157. There we go. Arithmetic I've seen show up on the ACT probably over half the time. Geometric I haven't seen as much. The arithmetic I will say is a little bit more complex than just these. Sometimes they're not too bad at all. But knowing this formula there, your nth term formula, will definitely help you when you're dealing with your arithmetic sequences. Okay, so there's 3 examples of what you guys have on your homework. Homework's going to look like that. Determine if it's arithmetic or geometric. What's a common difference or common ratio? Find that nth term. Remember, you can simplify arithmetic. You will not simplify geometric. And then find your specific term. Okay, answers are on the website as well, so make sure you guys check your answers before you turn that in.